All right. Welcome. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to another episode of TnT Knows It All Sports. Your host, Ty, my man over there.
What's going on, everybody? Got my Yankee hat on. I got to get, this Thomas, I got to get my Yankee hat on because the Bills pissed me off. The Rockets suck. Syracuse basketball is terrible, and the Sabres aren't good. So there's a lot of teams that are good. So maybe the Yankees will be good. So
Yeah, that is the hope for the Yankees. And me, I got my All-Star, went to All-Star Saturday night, All-Star in Indianapolis this weekend. Really, I mean the weekend, so it's past weekend, last week. It was great. I got a nice All-Star shirt and also representing Black History Month. We get the shortest month of the year, but it's all right. We make do with it. So, but it's all right. Yeah, so we got a good episode for you guys. It's just like it's not a sports lull, but once football season goes, people are like, oh boy, I don't know what to do. It's March Madness or baseball starting, and then they're like trying to reluctantly go to NBA. And I think most people start trying to figure out after All-Star Weekend what's going on in the NBA. So what we will do is we're gonna have to do a quick Super Bowl recap. Not gonna be long. Let's talk about what happened since we didn't get a chance to do that last episode. And then we're going to talk about, just pro sports all-star festivities, both, because there was a Pro Bowl and an all-star game. We'll kind of talk about all-star stuff for NBA. So we'll talk about that. And then we're going to have a quick discussion on the Bucks and Doc Rivers. Just talk about what the heck is going on there, because it's just very interesting. Topic we think. And then lastly, we got a little barbershop talk. We figured we'd get a little talk about eras. It was a nice topic that came up this week by one of the athletes about, playing in this era. And, we thought we would like to talk about that not only in one sport, but all sports and give you guys some of our feedback. All right. So all right, let's start, man. So let's get into this Super Bowl. So
well,
Well, I know. Interesting game. It was San Francisco, Kansas City. Um, I will say, and not trying to rub in, yeah, I did get my Super Bowl pick right for the season. So I did pick the Kansas City Chiefs to win. Um, I
we
thought it was gonna
both
be.
did it.
Yeah,
You said Niners.
I,
I said Niners and Chiefs. No, I
you,
think I
no,
picked
you said
nine. Maybe
Eagle.
I
You said
picked
Eagles
nine.
and Chiefs. I
Oh
thought
yeah,
you
and then
said.
the Chiefs are going to win. Yeah, my
Yeah,
bad. You're right.
yeah,
Repeat. Yeah.
yeah, and
I thought I said nine. Oh yeah,
yeah,
maybe
and
it was
then I
it
think
was
so.
Niners Eagles.
But I know I said
Yeah.
Cowboys and 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 Chiefs.
Chiefs.
But yeah, so Chiefs pulled it off. Won money on the bet too, by the way. In overtime, what was kind of 25-22. Ugly game. Best part about the game, Usher at halftime. No, no,
Yeah.
no,
One of better. That's the Super Bowl. I think. I'm not trying to be that
yeah,
person, but that was
no, it was
one of the
pretty good.
better ones. Probably Michael Jackson and him. You can argue.
Yeah, I thought he
So
actually did pretty good. I've seen Usher in concert a couple times, so I thought it was good. But yeah, so interesting game. Watching the first, I'll go quick. First half, I thought San Francisco dominated the game. Like it was like disgusting how bad they were dominating the game. Kansas City couldn't do anything on offense. San Francisco was able to, I felt like, move the ball well. Um, but they couldn't score. It was 3-zip. You would think the score would have been 21-0 or 17-0. And it was 3-0 for most of the first half. Then San Francisco scored to make it 10-0 at one point. Um, but it was that to me was their chance. And then once they went in halftime and it wasn't, they didn't have that big of a lead, I knew they were in trouble because Kansas City, you got Andy Reid, he's gonna figure it out. And they did. Shanahan curse was at it again. He decided to throw the ball a whole bunch of times, which is the reason why I didn't trust him. I didn't
in
think
the
Brock
third
Purdy.
quarter,
Yeah.
in the same quarter,
Yep.
third quarter.
And I didn't think Brock Purdy actually played that bad. I mean, considering. And one before I go into that, I just got to say, like, I'm sick of listening to media not giving Kansas City's defense the props that they deserve. Like, what are we talking about here? They didn't give up. I think I said this last time. They did not have a game this season. They gave up more than 28 points all season. That's ridiculous. Even the Ravens or the Bears, 85 gave up at least one game of third and in this era. So I'm like, I know they love Mahomes and he played well, but it's not like they were scoring a whole bunch. It was 19 to 19 at the end of the game. 19 to 19. Okay.
Right.
It wasn't an offensive show. That defense was all over the place, locking down and kept them in the game. So to Will Mahomes and the Chiefs were able to make plays and got the win. I think Shanahan. I don't know if I would say I blame him 100%, but I kind of do. You got to run the ball. We said this again for the Ravens, the Bills. Bills are only team that the Chiefs played this season that actually did well against them. Why? Because they ran the ball. When the Bills couldn't run the ball in the fourth quarter, that's why they lost. Because that's what Kansas City wants you to do is pass. It sounds weird, but that's what they're built. They're built to stop the pass. And San Francisco just didn't want to run the ball till overtime, where they ran the ball all the way down the field and then tried to throw the ball a couple
Right.
times and it didn't work. But anyway, so my thoughts on Super Bowl. Not surprised. I know some people were pissed, and I thought San Francisco actually played well. So it's not like you could say they didn't play well. I thought they played hard. They just Kansas City finds a way. That's just you know they're the champs.
Right. Yeah, the new Patriots, bro.
Yeah.
So I would say that San Fran lost the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna say Kansas City won the Super Bowl. San Fran lost it. That was their Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So in football, how many plays? I think it was like 78 plays in total. Well, OT, like 78 plays in total.
Mm-hmm.
Three plays come in particular, and two of them are on Rudy. So first drive when they drove down the field, and Christian McCaffrey, who has what one fumble all year,
Yeah.
fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
They were going to score a touchdown. The momentum was for
Mm.
TD because Shanahan was doing all these motions. It was throwing them all off. So he was able to he was going to pick a play to do it, right? So it's good score a touchdown,
Yeah.
right? So he scored his touchdown. And then Brock Purdy had a chance to have two touchdowns and he missed. He threw a Debo in the left. I mean, he threw a bad ball there. Another one, the other one was a Debo, and he was getting pressure, and then he overthrew Debo, right? He didn't float
Yeah.
it up there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, that was Mahomes, Allen, even Lamar, that would have been a TD.
Yeah.
Because he got pressure, but you got to just float it up there, bro. Like he just kind of he was worried about making a mistake,
Yeah.
right? I'll give you at the end of the game where Chris Jones got in and he
Yeah.
tried
Yeah.
to. Jennings was wide open to
Yeah.
score a touchdown. I'll give you that, but those other two,
Yeah.
but you got to make those plays, right? This is where
Yeah.
I'm trying. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like Nick Wright with Brock Purdy hate. I get it,
Yeah.
but he had a chance to really show that who he is, right? Then he's still to me a bottom 15 quarterback. Just me, guys. I'm sorry. He's zappy on the Niners. That's what he is. He's zappy. Right? I'm sorry. I just watched the zappy and I watch him play. Same thing. Only difference is he's very smart. He doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah.
But when you don't throw the ball, just because you don't throw an interception doesn't make mistakes. So that's
Right.
my take on that.
Yeah.
But I did tell you this, and I won. I was number one in my fantasy football. I won for $500. And I said, remember I told you it's going to be somebody that's outside of the Avengers who's going to do well, and that was Jennings.
Yeah.
Jennings should have had 3 touchdowns, 1 passing,
Right.
receiving, 2 receiving, right? At the end. So
Right.
that's what happens, right? So I'm not trying to hate Mahomes. Mahomes is the greatest quarterback. The greatest quarterback in the NFL. I'm not going to call him a GOAT. I'm not that person yet, right?
Yeah.
But
Not yet. Yep.
he's the greatest quarterback. I would love to have a longer Mahomes discussion, but we don't have time for that because if Mahomes was in the Bears, okay, that's all I can say. But he's great. But it's like when you let somebody hang around long enough,
Yeah.
he's going to make back. And what's funny is that the sports media is that he played awful. Like the first he like played awful the first half.
I
He
know.
was missing throws, and not even missing throws. The only real pass that he had was that bomb passing through that the idiot didn't turn around and intercept. That ball should have been intercepted.
Yeah.
When people were saying, "Oh, the NFL scripted," that didn't look like a scripted play. That should look like Madden when he threw in the 50-yard touchdown. I'm sorry, 50-yard bomb, and the dude didn't turn around. He turned around with interception. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but the difference is that when Holmes threw the interception in the second half, they didn't score.
Right.
But when the punter, for some reason, I don't, it's not, you can't blame the kick return team, but the
Yeah.
idiot got hit in the foot, right?
Yeah.
Mahomes scored a touchdown with MVS, right? So that's the difference. That's the ball game. The
Yeah.
only thing I would say is that Dre Greenlaw, like this is how bad this Shanahan curse so bad. Dre Greenlaw was running onto the field and freaking got if he's playing in
Achilles.
a game, a lot of people don't talk about this. Yeah, his Achilles. A lot of people don't talk about that. If Greenlaw, sorry,
Hmm.
Greenlaw would have played, he would have covered Kelsey. Did everyone notice that Kelsey was getting locked down in the beginning?
Hmm.
Because he's the better cover. Everyone thinks that it's Fred Warner, but actually Greenlaw is a better coverage linebacker, right?
Hmm.
So he gets hurt, and then Kelsey gets better in the game, right? So that's a big factor. And then the last point I'll say is that this is what happens, Shanahan. You continue to have these mediocre and the Kaepernick too
Hmm.
quarterbacks, Jimmy Garoppolo, and when you need them to make plays, they can't make them because they're mediocre Trent Dilfer type of quarterbacks. They just
Yeah.
guys who are good at game managing and everything. And when you need to make a play to the touchdown to Debo, two of them,
Hmm. Hmm.
you can't make the plays.
That's a good point.
So,
It's a good point.
so that,
I
but
mean, I think that's a good point. He's got to figure something out. So he might need to hire a consultant or something so he can get a quarterback because he
oh,
clearly doesn't
yeah,
know how to pick quarterbacks. And I don't know. I don't think again. I'm not blaming Brock Purdy for this game. I don't think any quarterback was going to do well against Kansas City. That's not how you beat them. No
yeah,
quarterback did amazing against them. Even Josh Allen, who did the best, still only
three
threw for 100.
touchdowns. Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah,
still threw
yeah,
for 186 yards. Not like he threw for 300 some yards,
yeah,
right?
yeah, sure.
So I was just saying, you're just not. That's not the way you beat them. But that's why I was frustrated. I'm like, you actually have the team that is built. You have the best running back in the NFL. Your offensive line is
Yes,
not the greatest, but you have the at least at certain points. We're like, yo, Trent, we coming to you 6 straight times. Like you could have done that, especially when you have the lead. You have the lead. What's
right,
the point?
right.
You're not even losing.
Yeah,
That's why I was like, yo, what are you doing? But I hate San
right,
Francisco, so I don't care that they lost. I was like, good.
right.
You're a bunch of bums, and you get lucky. You're front runners. You're worse than Dallas actually because you have better talent and you still can't win. So
Yeah.
I'm excited that they lost because I don't
Well,
want to hear
because
anything about them again.
yeah,
So
well, yeah, but also I don't want the funny part of social media is that there were a couple of holding calls that were missed. And you
yeah,
can say on both sides,
both sides.
but the problem that's don't use those excuses. Like it's
No.
just at the end of the day, Shanahan choked, and then he fires Steve Wilkes, who I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you guys they didn't mesh well. From what I hear is
Yeah.
that some from I forgot who it was. One of the analysts said that Steve Wilkes and him didn't mesh well in the beginning. Who was it? It was on Get Up or somebody, one of those guys. Yeah. So, but anyways,
Well, yeah,
but
they had history because they think
yeah,
about it. People are like, oh, like in our chat, they're like, man, well, look at him, look, they're fired. He's a scapegoat. I'm like, yo, it's not just one game. You don't just fire somebody off one game. It's like you actually got
yeah,
to look back. And like San Francisco's defense was not as good this year as it was in the past. He had to tell him to come from upstairs. You remember that? Like, remember he was upstairs in the booth. They told him that
yeah,
Shanahan told him he had to come down to the field. He's like, why should I have to do that, right? And when he came down to the field, they got better. So he's like, that
right,
was
right,
step
right.
one. Step two, now in the playoffs, forget the Super Bowl. Terrible, can't stop the run. They
Yeah,
like in Detroit look like
barely
they're the
won.
yeah, dude, Detroit look like the greatest show on turf all of a sudden. Scoring every drive in the first. People forget every single drive Detroit had in the first half they scored. Like you can't be
Okay.
doing that. Come on now. And
That's true.
so
Hey,
then
I agree.
so those are two things. Now they played a lot better in the Super Bowl. However, Shanahan had to call that timeout because he saw the coverage. And when your offensive head coach has to call a timeout and tell you to change the play in a critical play in the Super Bowl, that was the last straw. Like
Right.
they better have won. And even if they won, I still bet you they would have fired him. Because he's like,
Yeah.
yo, he's already choking enough, Shanahan. He's like, I'm already choking. I can't do my job. I can't be doing your job. Like he's like, at least I need you to do your job on the
Well, I mean,
defensive
yeah,
end.
he went all out blitz. I mean, that's the play you're talking about when he called the timeout.
Yeah,
So I don't know if they were doing it, but it looked like it was all out blitz.
yeah. So he's like, ooh,
But like I said, we'll see. I'll let Mahomes get his props.
yeah,
Casey, you do a great job. You know, whatever it is, what it is.
yeah. I
So
agree. So all right, yeah. So that's Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs, three-time Super Bowl champions under home. Props to them. Thank you for letting me win a little bit of money.
I know.
So that's cool. I
Thank
should
you.
have bet way more money than I did. I think I won like 60 or 70 bucks, but it was pretty much, I felt pretty good the whole time. I actually bet more money at halftime because they were, I was like, these guys in Vegas, I thought they're smarter than this. It's like, Kansas City's coming back, but
All right.
thank you, Vegas. All right. So next topic for us is pro sports all-star festivities. So there's been three all-star festivities that have happened in the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks. 2 weeks. You have the NHL All-Star, which Thomas and I will both admit we're not experts in. It is pretty decent though. Like I've watched it before. They have like a slap shot speed thing for their challenge. They have like accuracy. And then the game itself is like instead of, normally hockey's 5-on-5 for people who don't know hockey. Um, they do like a 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, I'm not sure. And they do divisions. And so the divisions play each other for certain, like the first round, and then whoever wins that division, they play each other for the championship. So like I don't know, the Western versus the Atlantic or something in the championship, and whoever wins
Right.
wins. So I think that's neat. At least they try to get creative.
Yeah.
Then you get to the two major sports. Um, the Pro Bowl. Um,
Yeah. It was
uh,
flag football.
it's flag football, which I don't hate. I used to play flag football, and it looks like it's competitive out there. I bet you those guys have more respect for flag football after that. They're like, yo, I can't really put my hands on people that much. You got to cover folks in space. There's a lot of field. Like it's hard to play flag football. I played for years. Um, and some of the talent is cool, but really, it isn't even the same game. Like that's the main point. Like it's not the same game. And who I feel bad for, and that is like all the people that play like offensive linemen or defense. Like you, what are you doing in the Pro Bowl? Like for flag football, they don't have five linemen out there. Like so now all of a sudden you got like I don't even who is the kick returner for um the Pro Bowl? Do you know which one was the kick returner? I can't even remember. Um
Um, for which one?
oh
AFC or
oh
NFC?
I think yes, it was was it the Chiefs kick returner? Anyways, whoever it was, that tells you who it is, the lack of importance. Because they're a Pro Bowler, they get out to go out and be receiver in the Pro Bowl. I don't want to see a kick returner as a receiver in
Right.
the Pro Bowl. What are you doing? Like you're not even
Uh,
thinking. That's like saying, you know what? Because you are leading the NBA in steals. Because you're one of the steals leader, we're gonna put you in the in the All-Star game. You're like, wait a second. I don't
right.
need to see, Lou Dort out there with,
Right.
with Shea Gilk. Like, what are you,
Unless,
what are you
unless
doing?
it's unless it's Devin Hester, I don't want to see a kick return.
Yeah, exactly. And even Devin Hester, like, he's a great kick returner, but I don't need you running routes. Like, no, I need to
Right.
see CeeDee Lamb out there and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Those guys, wish they were out there. Not being, oh, Jamar Chase, you come out for whoever the kick returner is. Oh, you know who it was? It was Bills. Wasn't it the Bills kick returner?
Deontay Hardy? No, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it was Deontay Hardy.
No, really?
I think he actually, yeah, I think somehow
As
he
like
may have been as a, and yes, I think
at
that's
like
what
the
it was Deontay.
19th,
Yes, exactly.
19th
Yes. So it's like,
alternate.
yeah, it's like, what are we doing? So my thing with that is, they got to do something with the game. Just it is an acknowledgement to be a Pro Bowler, but as we talked about last year, when uh Tyler Huntley got to be on the Pro Bowl, he not a starter, and he started like 6 games. You knew the Pro Bowl is
And then
what the
Gardner
heck is.
Minshew this year, like, come on.
Yeah, like what we doing?
Yeah.
But I mean, you got wheelbarrow race, you got tug of
Dodgeball.
war. Like,
Dodgeball.
what are we doing at this point? Is this NFL or is it the Ocho? Or the ESPN Ocho, right? Good Globo Gym versus, you might
Right.
as well do that next. Like what's happening? So I don't know. That's my thought on
Yeah.
Pro Bowl. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was like, well, yeah, a Pro Bowl and yeah, it's a joke. It's like the alternate. Now, I remember when I watched the Pro Bowls in Hawaii, it was
Hmm.
Peyton was out there, it was
Yeah,
Dan Marino, Jim Kelly. People took pride.
yeah,
Now, like for example, Josh Allen was the first because he was the alternate for Patrick Mahomes.
yeah,
He said, "Oh, I'm good. I'm going to Pebble Beach or whatever." He went to the ATT golf.
yeah. The
Is
pro
it
am, yeah, pro
Pro
am.
Am? Okay,
Hmm.
in Pebble Beach, right? Isn't it Pebble Beach
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
yeah? So he said, "Forget this." And then Jared Goff like had an injury. All of a sudden, Lamar had an injury mystery. That's how you get up to the Pro Bowl.
Right.
So you're going to like literally you're going to like quarterbacks. They're probably 12th best in the division, and there's only 4 teams in the division now.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. The Gardner Minshew, bro. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Baker Mayfield. Well, Baker
yeah,
played okay, but Baker, like,
yeah. Come on,
he actually was
Snoop.
MVP, by the way, of the game.
Yeah, yeah. So he's trying to get his money.
Yeah.
It was a joke. It was like players. Nobody really wants to do the Pro Bowl. And
Right.
what's crazy is that it's gonna be a subject later on. But part of the Hall of Fame was like how many Pro Bowls you had. Josh Allen said no the last 2, so he doesn't have these 2 Pro Bowls, right?
Hmm.
Technically, he only has 2 Pro Bowls. You should have 4.
Hmm.
Same thing with Joe Burrow last year. One other guy. So it looks like like Joe Burrow has as many Pro Bowls as Tyler Huntley and Gardner right now, one each. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke.
And speaking about it, and in the games were terrible. I don't want to get to that skill challenge. Remember back in the day when Peyton would like try to
Yeah.
get with Tom Brady. When Dan Orlowski, remember what Dan Orlowski was he famous for? Football running out of bounds in the end zone for a
Right.
safety had a higher score than Tua and some other people in the skills at the NFL quarterback skills challenge. Like you're not even trying, bro. Like who
Yeah.
cares, right? So,
Yeah.
and then don't even get me started with the NBA. The
Right.
NBA, I mean, the dunk contest. The dunk contest. You used to get some popcorn ready,
Yeah.
your friends over, have some drink. You're like, yo, I can't wait for the dunk contest.
Yeah.
You're ready to go. You got people jumping over cars. Especially the last one we saw was when Zach Levine and Aaron Gordon. That was crazy.
Yeah.
What year was that again? 2010,
I don't remember what.
Wait,
No,
anyway,
yeah. It was like
15,
15, I
15,
think. Yeah.
15, 15.
But it was
I was,
great.
I, I was in Vegas at the time. Yep. So it was great. 2015 season, it was in 2016.
Yeah.
So that was an amazing time. But now, I saw the dunk contest. It is so terrible. First of all, you have a D League player. Isn't Sims a D League too? Like two D League,
Yeah, basically. Yes, yes.
two D League players in the All Star game. I'm sorry, the dunk contest. And one of them had one of the worst dunks I've probably ever seen in the last 5 years, where he put a piece of paper on the basket, dunked it with his forearm inside, and read what's on the piece of paper. Guys, I don't know what else to say. Like, I mean, I could have a better dunk contest in 2K, right? You and I could get a 2K and have a better dunk
Yeah.
contest than what I saw. It was terrible. I see what they're trying to do with the 3-point contest. Put a WNBA. I get all that. That's better, but that dunk contest was absolutely terrible. And then the
Yeah.
All Star game. I mean, what was the score again? 220. What?
211 to,
11.
but still, I mean, the fact that they got 200 points, I mean,
No defense was played.
it's
Zero. People would share. You know what it would look like? We used to play open gym tie when the cat went across half court, 1 foot over, just for the rebound, so you could throw him the ball and cherry pick. It was cherry picking. It was crazy. It was
Yeah.
absolute bananas. It just the All Star game was great too. Another thing, like you had, Jordan, you got Magic back in the day, Kobe. They were out
Mhm.
there sweating, trying to outshine each other. McGrady, even Harden when Harden, not Harden, Steph Curry. When
Yeah.
Steph Curry about 5 years ago in All Star game, it was a better game. Now I didn't want to watch it, bro. It's 220 or
Yeah.
210. Sorry,
It
um,
it's bad. It
it's
it
it's
was
bad.
it was bad, man. Like, where's your pride, man? Like, somebody said it best. In the summertime, these guys play each other. They go to UCLA and play, right? And
Open
they're getting
gym.
ready for it. They play hard. They play all out. Nobody's getting to see it. They're not worried about getting injured or anything like this. But because it's All-Star game, you're now saying, "Ooh, I'm worried about getting injured." It's the summertime. It's even worse. You're in
Right.
basketball shape. It's not like you haven't been playing. Go play basketball. No one's saying to play like it's the game 7 of the finals. But this Olay defense stuff, man. And I'm the ambassador of the NBA. I love it, right? But they got to get this better. And you know who I'm gonna point to? I'm pointing
But,
to Adam Silver.
oh, okay. I
He
think so.
actually changed the rules to go back to the East to West. He's like, yeah, this them picking thing isn't working as well. So let's go back to East and West. And not only was that a mistake, it was worse. It got worse. So that
Mm-hmm.
means he must have had a false sense of these players and what their mindset is. If you're asking me what they need to do for an All-Star game, it's time. Not East versus West. It's US versus the world. I'm sorry. This is where you're probably gonna kick in because if you already the American players are already feeling a certain way because top 5 MVP people are all foreign. They're not in this country. So if you're Jason Tatum, who's the best player on the best team, not like a close best team, like the next best team is like 6.5 games or 7 games behind them. They're by far the best team, and he's by far the best player. He's like sixth or seventh in voting. So this is your chance. If you guys
Right.
think you're nice and you think you're better than all those guys, put it out there. And I think they'll play.
Yeah.
I think that'll be it. The people are saying the money thing, and I don't really know. It's a different era of player. Just
Yeah.
just being, you
Yeah.
know, calling out. Like me, I'm rushing home to get to, playing my games, and I'm in some stupid like men's league around here.
Yeah.
Like I take pride in it. These guys don't care that much. They're like,
So
look, yeah,
no, I'll tell you what I would do. So you said, oh, wait, sorry, cutting you off, but
yes,
real quick before I forget, somebody did talk about that. What would they do differently?
hmm
And they didn't say the world versus the U.S. So that's a good idea, man. I'll give you
hmm
my idea in a second, but
yeah.
that's no one said that. That's the first time I heard it.
Yeah, I think it's time. Like, yo, you watch FIBA. If you watch us play teams in FIBA, like honestly, if it's World versus US, I'm putting my money on the World because you know who they have? They got Giannis. That dude was playing
And you
on,
and Luca too,
yeah, but yeah, Luca wasn't even playing. But like, who's gonna take the game seriously?
yeah.
Giannis is gonna
True.
take the game seriously. Dame is taking the game serious. That's why I got MVP. So they're both on the East. Usually Dame's on the West, so the West got at least somebody out there that's gonna be trying hard.
Yeah.
Both of them are on the East this time, and that's what you saw. Dame, had 11 threes in the game. He was out there he's shooting, making shots from half. He was like, I'm trying to play.
Right.
Giannis is gonna play. He actually even defends. He blocked a shot or something like that, stealing. Like he don't
Right.
care.
Right. So yeah, I agree. You know what? So my idea would be for the NFL, get rid of the game and create a awards, like a real nice awards dinner banquet, so people actually want to come for the day, right?
Yeah.
So the real players maybe get give the MVP, give all of the awards during that time instead of Super Bowl weekend. Do it All Star.
hmm
I mean, Pro Bowl. And for All Star weekend, this is my idea. So here's pride, right? A
hmm
lot of the NBA prides itself on what? Community,
Yeah.
donation, helping out. How about the winning team gives $1 million out to gets $1 million for their donation and the losing team gets $0? Let me see if the pride kicks in.
Mm,
How about somebody was like, you know what? You got a chance to put $1 million for your foundation. You don't play hard because you don't want to be $0. People are like, damn, Dame, no, Dame wouldn't be Dame, but
yeah,
whoever's out there, like, yeah, like you gotta help to have $1 million for St. Jude's,
yeah,
whatever it is, you don't know.
yeah.
Put it out there because you're the NBA. So how many players on an All Star game? 15?
Fif-
No, 15,
12. It needs to be
12, 12.
15, by the way. It
Yeah,
needs to be
yeah.
15.
So 12 million. You try NBA can afford $12 million, and the reason why I use a million is because you're fighting for it. Not 100,000. $1 million will make
Yeah,
you want to really play hard. And
yeah.
a losing team, it sounds messed up, but the losing team zero. But hey, that's why you out there hooping. Like
Yeah.
that
That's
would be that would be my idea.
I
Because
think that's a
NBA is
good
all
idea.
about community. It's all about NBA cares,
Yeah,
community. They
I
really pride
agree.
themselves on that. So there you go, NBA.
I
Balls in
I,
your
I like that actually. I mean, it's extreme, but I think you need to do something extreme. I agree
right,
with you actually. They done proven that they can't figure this stuff out on their own. Like they
right.
already figured that. They've already proven it. So, and so by the way, this is I'll show you guys all this. So this is me at All-Star Weekend, freezing up out there, and in the
Oh,
cold.
it was snowing.
Oh, it was snowing out there, man. So I got a chance to be out there, but it was cool, man. I tell you, I had a blast. Out there in Indianapolis. And the best part, I'll tell you, Thomas and everybody, is as a basketball person, I mean, I did actually go to the dunk contest and the atmosphere was incredible. The LED floor was insane. I ain't never seen anything like that. So
Yeah,
the fact that I mean, so that was cool. I mean, NBA again, they're always trying to be progressive and they're good at that. But I know All-Star Weekend, it's usually the, dunk contest. They're at whatever local stadium. That was at Lucas Oil. It was like 45 to 50,000 people in that arena watching that stuff. It was insane. I've never been in anything like that for a basketball game. It's kind of like going to a Final Four.
yeah.
Um,
Carrier Dome. Yeah.
yeah. It was even more people in the Carrier Dome, which I was surprised. I mean, they actually opened up most of the side. So the atmosphere was great. I got to do all the NBA experience. So the NBA does it well. The whole weekend was good. You got to see. I mean, I saw Shea Gilgeous Alexander, Brunson. They went to the same restaurant I was in. Laurie Markkinen, like all these guys just walking around. I told Thomas Jada Kiss was there. I got to say hi to him. Go to hip hop fans.
My favorite rapper.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're just around. So it was just the environment was great. And then you get there Saturday night and you get the worst judges of all time at the dunk contest where a guy does a blindfold after he dunks. He's like, oh, after he already makes the dunk, he's like, oh yeah. Like what do you what is happening now? I'm like, what are we watching?
There's
So
no
anyway,
creativity, bro.
yeah, no creativity whatsoever. But anyway, um, happy to see the second half of the season and these pro sports need to hire us so we'll figure out how to get these things going
Yeah.
because we want to see our best players out there.
Right. So just going real quick, going back because it was a little extreme, but I think something extreme worse. You can even say 750 to the winner and 250, so it leads to get the chair. But just I think they gotta put like you gotta put your pride in there. And
Yeah,
nobody wants to go on Twitter saying you played half ass
right,
and you didn't help the kids out, or whatever, help
right,
the whatever it is.
right,
This
right.
is just my thought, Adam Silver. Just throwing some
I agree.
ideas in there. And another thing is they like I like LeBron, but it's gonna sound like everyone thinks I'm a LeBron hater. I'm not a LeBron hater. But when did LeBron become the ambassador of ideas? I didn't know like it's like when did this come about? Like I
Yeah,
get it. Hire outside counsel NBA,
yeah,
outside people who have degrees and their job is to market this,
yeah, yeah. I agree.
like
That's
just saying that.
that's a darn good point. Hey, just like the Jets need to stop listening to Aaron Rodgers. Let's
Right.
just yeah, let's go stick to pros, okay?
Right,
Aaron
right,
Lazard, like I said before, I'm sure hopefully he don't make it there next year.
right.
All right, so real quick, let's talk about we're on NBA. Let's talk about the Bucks. Um, go ahead. I know I
Well,
want you to lead this one off.
I really wish I could play JJ Redick's rant.
Oh,
My
it was
man went
great.
off.
Oh, it was
I mean,
great.
but he has some valid points. He has some
Hmm.
valid points, and I get he's not the biggest Doc. People were hating him on Twitter because
He
him and Doc.
Doc coached him.
I know,
Yeah.
but there's some animosity. I mean, Patrick Beverly always got a troll. He
Hmm.
always, but he has some good points. So first, I mean, let me. Doc said so much, so I want to talk about two things. But he said so much. The first thing is, it's weird that he's doing these comments like after he got hired, right? Like
Hmm.
just like a week or 2 weeks after, 3 weeks after he's hired.
Hmm.
Like you should have done this in the beginning. I don't know. I get he's trying to win in the locker room, but but anyways, because he said, "Oh, I'm surprised they even hired me when the guy is 30, 30, 13, blah blah blah." Right. So that comment, which
Right.
was was kind of weird. Like,
Yeah. Why'd you take the
and
job?
then yeah, why you take job, and then you say two mystery teams we're also looking to hire you, which also, Twitter went off on that. Like, what two mystery teams are trying to hire you? I hope, who, I don't know. Maybe you could get, I don't know who these two mystery teams are. So
Yeah.
is he just saying that because he was trying to get clout, right?
Yeah.
And then state one more comment, and I want to go back to something about Doc. But then he said half the team is here and other half is in Cabo. Like, I don't think you're gonna like win your team over by
Yeah.
the. So think about. I mean, you got to remember, like, NBA is a little different than an NFL. Coaching, to me, the coach is not really your X and O as much as NFL. Like, NFL is like real strategy. NBA can be, it is, but the NBA coach is the leader, right? The
Right.
motivator.
Yeah.
So you have to be very motivational. That's why a lot of them are ex NFL, ex
Yeah.
NBA players,
Mm.
right? So they understand the game, they understand what goes on outside. You got to be able to connect to your players, and it's a smaller group, which people forget, right? The head coach has a connection with everybody, unlike the NFL, where the head coach doesn't know who the special teams players are. They might know by name, they ain't spending time like that. So
Right.
you're breaking bread with these guys, so you have to be like the motivator with that. So a lot of players are upset in the locker room, probably like, why did they fire the coach? I get it. There might have been some rumblings because Giannis didn't want to, which, my
Yeah.
biggest problem with the NBA is
Yep.
that
Too much
superstars
power.
always,
Yeah.
yeah, too much power, right?
Yeah.
So, which is wild to me. But anyways, we'll talk about it in a second. But so why did Doc come out with all this? He's just going to break the locker room up even more. My opinion, divide them, and that's the wrong time. The last comment I'll make is that you know Doc is Marty Schottenheimer, okay? Like it really
Yeah.
it's not like they brought Phil Jackson out here, right?
Right.
They got Phil out of retirement, or for somehow they got Popovich. He's still saying, but like it's not like they got Doc Rivers. There's another line they got media. I like Doc, but he's a mediocre coach. You won one championship, and he didn't really win it. He kind of like he had the best team formed, like a
Yep.
real first super team, first real super team that formed it. Other than that, he's a choker. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? He didn't. It just is, bro. What's up?
And what's funny about that? I'm gonna piggyback on that last point. So even the year Doc, people forget the year Doc won. You know that they were the number one seed in the East. They
Yeah,
went to Game 7, all three of the Eastern
yeah.
Conference.
You used to
Every
say that all
single
day.
series they went to Game 7
Right.
against the Bulls, who didn't have anybody. It was like Ben Gordon and like I don't know, like I don't even remember who else was on the team at that time, like Drew
Right.
Holiday or something, or like I don't know. It was something terrible. It's Game
Right.
7. Um, the Hawks,
Right. Right.
who were not very good, they went through. That was Game 7, and then of course the Cavs with LeBron.
And
But
not a good LeBron team.
yeah, that was with Delonte West was their number two.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they
Right.
had old Antoine Jameson and Mo Williams, so they had to
No
help to.
boozer.
Yeah, it was Game 7. So yeah, they beat the Lakers in 6 because Kobe was like, I can't do anymore with Sasha Medvedenko.
Right. And
Um,
Smush Parker. Was it
yeah,
Smush?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was just that team was not ready. But like you said, Doc, that was a championship. You didn't win again, and you had some loaded teams. The most Game 7 losses in history. Now people say, well, that means you're good enough to get the Game 7, which is true. But as coach, most Game 7 losses in history, most 3-1 losses as a head coach in NBA history. Like these and what I love the most about JJ Redick is no, like you said, never has accountability for what happens. He never takes accountability for what he's done. It's always somebody else. Last year was James Harden, who won you 2 games, by the way.
Right.
Won you 2 games. It's Harden's fault that they didn't do well. No, I don't think so, because Harden looks pretty darn good. Taking the credit for Harden to go into the Clippers saying that that's the reason why, I'm like, how are you taking the credit? What do you have to do with that? Like, what was happening here? I just, and I like Doc. I'm with you. Like, I actually like him,
Yeah.
but you have to be accountable. Like, he's delusional. He is, like I said, as we are Nick, I'm a Knicks fan. Tibbs comes from the Doc tree. They are so stubborn. That's Doc's problem. You got to be able to look at yourself and like, yo, all right, I might really believe in this, but I might need to switch because it ain't working. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Doc doesn't understand that quote. you know, he don't. That's why they continue. He's gonna get you a good foundation, but he's not gonna get you to promised land. So, like I said to anybody, the greatest bet of the year, if they had, is the Bucks to not win the championship this year. I would bet my whole mortgage on that, and not because they don't have talent, but as long as Doc Rivers is in there, he'll find a way to not win, to
Right. Right.
not win. And they got Dame, so he might, you might think he might. No, Doc will figure out some way. Like, you know what? At the end of the game,
Yeah.
let's post the ball to Bobby Portis, and he'll give us the chance to take
Yeah, I
to take us
know.
down the
Right.
stretch. Like,
But
like,
yeah, but
so,
he's also not doing it. It just it took. I mean, I get why they fired the coach for, but it just I don't know. Like,
yeah,
uh, it's just weird. Doc is. That's why I call him Marty. It's just
yeah.
like he can have the best team together and
Mm-hmm.
still find a way to choke. And
Yes.
Marty, like, just a little history of Marty. Marty had the same problem too. He really didn't blame himself. Sometimes he would
Right.
blame situations, or
Yep.
one time he blamed his offensive coordinator for a call. He's like, I don't run the offense. I mean, I'm just why so,
Yeah.
so that's Marty.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what, Giannis? That's what you wanted. That's what
I
you
know.
you and LeBron always want to like dictate who your damn coaches are. So
Yep. Hey, I'm hoping Giannis continues to be upset and come on over to Orange and Blue Skies, buddy. We'll take you. We'll trade you for
yeah,
Julius Randle and 5 first-round picks. How about that? And win the championship
yeah,
this year because
yeah,
you don't have
yeah.
to worry about people not playing hard because that's Tibbs. Everybody's gonna play hard on the Knicks. We don't have to worry about that. Everyone's gonna play hard, so we will match your intensity. You might as well just come on board. Just come on board. We'll take care of you. We get a statue outside of the garden.
Isn't he a free agent or not? He
No,
has player option next year.
no. He signed an extension with Dame when Dame came, like a
Oh
dummy.
yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
You're
so
right.
they're
Because
on the
he was.
same timetable now. They both have like
Okay.
4 years left, 3 years left, or something like that.
Oh yeah, you're right. He got 300 million. What, 300 million wasn't there or
Yeah, it
something
was
ridiculous?
stupid. I thought it was dumb, but that's all right. Hey, he'll learn. Enjoy
Who
Milwaukee.
wants to be in Milwaukee,
That's
man?
what that's what I just said. Enjoy
Right.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
I
I would
heard
like.
it's
I wouldn't
Algonquin
even.
for the good land. No,
I would, honestly, I would. I mean, if Giannis is, I think he wants to be like a global guy now, more and
Yeah,
more. Like you
yeah.
remember when he first came to the league, he was just not. Now
Quiet.
he's,
Yeah.
yeah, now he's like outspoken. He's so
And
New
on a
York.
tangent, kind of tangent, exactly what you're saying. So I was overseas this summer. Man, I was in Amsterdam. I remember when I went to go visit, our friend in Norway, and we were
Right.
in Copenhagen, Denmark. Giannis everywhere, everywhere. Like he's got tons of endorsements over there. He is the guy, like and all these like
Over
fashion
Luca.
stuff. Yeah, I didn't
Oh,
see anyone else but Giannis.
okay. Wow, that's
I was
interesting.
shocked. I was like, wow,
Wow.
so he's got the Europe market. Like we were in Greece, of course. I was in Athens, and that's all you saw. You saw Giannis everywhere, everywhere. Like he actually did exactly what you said. He actually is getting that market. But man, imagine getting Madison Ave too. He
Yeah,
probably don't
Fifth
care,
Avenue.
but man, oof, yeah, that would be nice for him.
LA.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And so this is a great segue into the last segment. So our little barbershop talk, which you're kind of doing that anyways. We figured we'd
Yeah.
switch it up today. So we're talking about greatness, right? Everybody, we always talk about it in the barbershop. Who's the greatest of all time? Who's on,
Who to go?
yeah, who's on
And
the
then
Rushmore, of
yeah.
quarterbacks. and wide receivers and running
Well,
backs and tight ends
and
and
your cut goes from 30 minutes to 2 hours. Yeah, go ahead,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, that's true. Your haircut does go a little longer. You're like, all right, you're like, you can take some time on this. I gotta hear what this crazy dude's gonna say.
Right.
And then basketball. So there's a lot of players now doing crazy records. Like I just saw, Jokic had he's got a triple double against every team in the league now, after doing getting one against the Wizards last night. Um, these guys are just breaking all these records and stuff. So like, man, NBA, people now like basketball's so much better than it was in the past. So we were this recently there was a clip of Allen Iverson. He was getting interviewed by Shaq. And Shaq was like, I guess somebody asked him the question. They're like, hey, in this era, the way the sport is being played, what would you think you would average, points per game? So Iverson's like, first and I'll give Iverson credit before saying this, you might want to bash Iverson. I love Iverson, by the way. But
Yeah,
he said, hold on a second. He's like, that means I got to brag on myself. I don't want to do that. So I'll say that first. He actually didn't want to do it. He's like, no. And so Ledlow was on there with Shaq, and Ledlow's like, no, you're allowed to do this. Like, you're great. Like, just tell us what you think. Like, we're not gonna think you're full of yourself. He's all right. Well, the year Kobe averaged 36 and a half points per game, I was second in the league and I averaged 33 points a game. He was like, and then the league was, they putting your hands on you and all this stuff. He was like, this league, I'd average 43 points a game. I was like, yo. So I had to think about it because Allen Iverson, even though I don't hate the Sixers, I'm not a huge Sixers fan, clearly I'm a Knicks fan. And I didn't like Georgetown because I was a Syracuse fan. But Iverson's still one of my favorite players of all time. Probably top
yeah.
five favorite player. He actually changed the way I play basketball. Um, I think 43 might be a stretch, but not that far. And so they've been killing them. And I was like, yo, Alvin Iverson was one of the best finishers at the rim that for his size ever. I mean, you see Kyrie now. Kyrie's getting all day. It's easy, right? I don't know if Kyrie would be doing that with Elijah and Ewing and
Yeah,
Mutombo
Matumbo.
and David
Yeah,
Robinson and Mourning
morning.
and
Yeah,
all those guys, right? Like
yeah,
that. You just keep naming 7-footers that were athletic enough at the rim. That wasn't gonna happen. You got to be 6'7", right? Like you gotta be 6'6", like Jordan. Those guys. That's why he was able to dominate. He had to be big, at least kind of big. Allen Iverson was doing that. 33 with now you have rim protectors. It's like, and I love him, but Draymond 6'6" and OG, who I like OG 6'7". These are your rim
Bam.
protectors. Bam.
Right.
Allen Iverson. They can't even put their hands on Allen Iverson. I'm like, yo, these guys have no idea how fast and strong this guy was. Yo, Ja Morant, who doesn't even take that many shots, when he plays, he scores like 27, 28 a game. He didn't take the shot. He didn't take the shots, or they might have the freedom that Allen Iverson did. You give Allen Iverson the freedom that in this league, I think he's gonna go off.
Good.
Um, and so that sparks a discussion. Really, it's hard to, some of my friends might actually be proud of me for saying this because I'm opinionated. I have who I think is the greatest and, whatever. And I actually do kind of take things I do take errors into account. But really, people need to do a better job of taking errors into account. Like things change with errors. So you cannot minimize um what Larry Bird was doing and say, well, Larry Bird only had like this amount of points in this game, and like Kevin Durant's here, so Kevin Durant's way better than Larry Bird.
With
I'm
no
like,
3-pointers. We forgot the
right,
3-point line.
yeah,
Like with Larry Bird, but go
yeah, he had him, but it was just
ahead.
started. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
you just started.
The game wasn't there. Like
What's it? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The three
if
point
you
line.
put Larry Bird now, where they're like,
Right.
hey, we're gonna encourage you to shoot threes. I mean, Larry Bird had a 60-some point game where he barely put the ball on the ground. This is in like 1985. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. When you see those type of games, then where it's
That's what I'm
not
saying. Like
free falling.
threes weren't like big deal. They just
Right.
put them in the game. You know what I'm saying? It was just like it was an experiment.
Right.
So mid range, his mid range, probably one of
Oh
the best
yeah.
mid ranger maybe the best mid-range shooter ever, man. Like I'm
He's
just
up there, yeah.
is
So yeah, so I'm with you. So I think when we start having these barbershop discussions, and I live for it. I mean, that's why we're doing this podcast. I'm sign me up. I'm there for all day. But you got to put errors in. Mahomes, as we were talking about earlier, probably the best I'd say the best quarterback of this era. But you can't just all of a sudden say like, you know, like you said, John Elway or Marino or whoever, even it's
yeah.
gonna sound crazy, Johnny Unitas couldn't play. Like those guys, they weren't allowed to have five wides and spread offense. I mean, Marino started a little bit, so he threw for 5,000 yards in 1984. That's retard. That's excuse my language. That is crazy.
Right, right.
5,000 yards in 1984. Like people don't even
Right.
understand that. Like
Yeah.
no, you don't do that. So
Right. And
now
50
it's like,
touchdowns.
yeah, like yeah, like what are we talking about? So
With no running game, by the
right,
way.
none.
Oh yeah. No.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It should be error. So to your point, right? We also have the. I think AI would average 38.
Yeah, it's about right.
38. And the reason why it was 38 is because AI would be like when they try to sub them, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
It's, no,
Like,
I'm staying in. Yep.
because players are averaging 34 minutes a game. 30. He's getting 38. Like I'm good, bro. I got halftime take breaks.
7 years he led the league in in minutes played.
Right. That's
Seven.
because he literally told them I'm good. Like they try to film me, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm staying in. So AI with 38. And you know, LeBron, I don't know how LeBron would do back in the day when he had to get some physical guys. I mean, I don't know. LeBron don't like to be physical. He's always he got Austin Reeves and type of players following him. He complains, right? Like he's like, oh my God, I'm falling like that. So, imagine if you try to come to a hole with like those with Charles Oakley,
Uh,
Bill Lambiers.
I
They
know.
would clothesline you, and you're never coming to a hole. But yeah, errors matter. So, my favorite player of all time is Akeem Olajuwon, the Dream. Okay.
Mm,
If the Joker is doing what he's doing now, put the Dream, because he could
yeah.
pass, shoot, dribble up,
Yeah.
dream shake, and they got no big men. So he could adapt the game. But there's a guy. So I was thinking about like football. I'm gonna give you a football player. I think an error like you know how you always have a player that's in the wrong era, but
Yeah.
still awesome. Imagine if Barry was in this system now
Oof.
with stretches, zone read. Oh my God,
Yeah.
Barry would be killing it. Like he
Yeah.
was a. Go
Yeah.
ahead, go ahead.
No, no, I agree with you. And actually, well, I do think he would kill. I also do think, and this is my argument. For people that don't know this, people that watch this might be some people that watch this and have had this. We've had this Barry Emmett argument all the time. I finally watched the Bye Barry, by the way, Thomas.
No, fine.
So,
Okay, good.
and I did enjoy it, but I didn't learn anything new. All I did was confirm what I had been arguing with everybody in the past, and Barry said it. People said his line was trash. It was not trash. He had two Pro Bowlers
Oh,
every
yeah,
single year, and everyone said he didn't have it when he did. And once they left, he was getting mad. Like once Lomas was gone, he was like, "All right, I
yeah.
don't know if I want to continue playing football."
But imagine Barry had a line now,
Oh
Detroit
yeah, I
line.
know, I know, I know.
You think Jamar Gibbs got that? But because yeah, I remember back in the day, football they weren't doing stretches. Like Barry's kind of doing it. He didn't have a fullback, but I mean they don't. That's what I'm saying. Like he was the first one not to really have a fullback. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So he would do well. He would do really really I think well. And then another player is Air. He would have been great, but imagine if Clyde Drexler was in that NBA now,
I
bro.
know.
Because he's like a a six combo guard.
Yeah,
Like he was the truth, but
yeah,
my goodness. And like
yeah. It's
if
true.
he was
That's
if
true.
Clyde wasn't, it was in it. That's why I look at it.
Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was another name. Randy, like if Randy and Terrell Owens were in this
Oh my
NFL,
gosh.
where you can't touch people.
Oh
I
my
mean,
goodness.
it would be crazy. So that's why when people say who's the best, it's very hard for me to say it
Yeah,
because okay. So who's the goal for NFL? Tom Brady. First 7 years, if
yeah,
you took Tom Brady stats and then you took, I think they did a comparison. They did Tom Brady stats and then they took Russell stats. Russ it was crushed Tom
yeah.
Brady. Now we're trying to say Russ go, let's ride Russ is better than Tom Brady. You
Right,
know what I mean? And so
right.
I don't know if you guys are watching, seeing this on Facebook a lot or Instagram. You have these comparisons like Josh Allen and Joe Montana. Like you see these comparisons. I saw some NBA ones. I'm like, guys, it's a
You can't
different
do it.
game.
Right.
Like, different game. Like it's different eras.
Which is
So
why, which is why, I hate Jordan because you see my poster there. That's why it's up here every week to remind people that he did get dunked on. I don't care what anybody says. Look at him in the poster. That's him. Anyways, with that being said, he's still the greatest basketball player, I mean, ever. And the
yeah,
thing is, it's because you still don't, even in this time where things are better, you still don't see people. No one still scored 37 points a game.
right.
Still,
Yeah,
like, I mean, he has. You know what I'm saying? Like, I, I
yeah,
so those players transcend, errors. But most of the time, like I said, when you start to compare, it's
yeah.
it's tough.
So
It's really context matters. So like you said with Barry, let me finish the Barry thing. Barry, I always said, and people were killing me, and they were like, "You're just a hater." I said, I always said that Barry benefited from playing in the system he played in because no one played that system. It was a
yeah,
run and shoot, four wides. So that means you have to play at least six DBs. So there was no, you can't, they're like, we put nine in the box, but you're not putting nine big men in the box. You can't.
right.
It literally is four wide receivers. So Barry had, it was one on one, and you put one on one Barry with anybody ever, he's going to shake the behind. And so he
Yeah,
benefited by that. So it's like a weird thing. People thought it was a detriment, but when they put a fullback there, he struggled.
yeah, and I
You
know you're
know?
talking about, and yeah, and Thurman, you can say the same thing. Thurman was like the
Yep.
first like wide receivers, receiving running back,
Yep.
right? That's why. So you're talking about, you see what we're talking about is the guys that started trends, eras like,
Yes.
oh wow,
Yes.
just like, and like I love Warren Moon, but Warren Moon also benefited from a system, right?
Yes.
Like like Warren Moon, but no one was doing running, the run and shoot K gun. So you're right. So the errors matter, but there's some people, Jordan, Jerry Rice, who no matter what era you put them in, they're gonna be great.
Right. No, I agree.
Because Jerry, like Jerry Rice, shit, don't get him started here. He might get 1,800 yards every year
Yeah, I agree.
with these rules,
Oh,
So
Jerry Rice. Oh my gosh. But yeah, like Steph Curry, I give him props. I mean, he's just,
yeah, and then on the reverse, people who are all of Famers would not be good at their errors, right?
yes.
And so one person in particular, and I mean, I'm just like I said, it's one of I like him, but how good would Ronnie Lott be in this era?
Ooh.
So he's a inbox
Yeah,
safety.
that's true. That's
So
true.
you gotta, what I'm saying.
That's a good point.
Like I said, I love Ronnie Lott
Yep.
and I watch a lot, but he's literally a linebacker,
Yes.
right? And so would he be Cam Chancellor, right?
Mm.
Is Cam Chancellor all pro? So you got there's
Yep.
and you can use vice versa for in the NBA, right? So
Yes. Yep.
you know like I like what's his name? Oh my gosh, I forgot his name. Not Dan. It's not Dan Marley. Who's a guy on the team with somebody I forgot his name. But
Jason?
anyways,
Kevin Johnson?
it was Kevin Johnson. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kevin Johnson.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like
right. And he was nasty. He helped the Suns get in the
right.
finals, but like, yeah, I
Yes,
mean,
yeah, but Kevin Johnson didn't have a jumper, so he had to go to the hole and use passer. So it would, there.
mm.
Jason Kidd, another one. I mean, I like Jason Kidd, but
You mean Asen? No.
but again, he benefited a big era
I love
with point
Jason.
guard. Yeah, I love Jason Kidd.
I
He had a
love
better
Jason.
era. But the last person I do want to give kudos, I think would be amazing in the era, is my man Jason Williams, aka White Chocolate.
Oh yeah.
He would
Oh
be.
my gosh. Now, oh my gosh. I didn't think about him. He would
Yeah.
be destroying people right now in this era.
Oh my goodness. Because
Man.
I forgot to mention him because I was thinking about this when we had a discussion. It was like I was watching the NBA show replays of games.
Hmm.
So I don't know how that Kings team lost.
Oh,
I get Robert Ory got the ball and hit the
oh
three,
man.
but
I
that
remember
team
that
was
day. I was so happy. Man, I was sick. I remember I was sick that day, and it was Memorial Day. I was at home, and Robert Horry hit that shot. I was so happy. when I
Yeah.
was a Lakers fan when Kobe was there. So
Yeah. And that, but people forget about Jason Wynn. I'm like, well, that dude was
mhm.
on. So,
Yeah, I know.
but fun time, dude.
Yeah, it's good time. So yeah,
Barbershop
so
talk.
so hey, so when you guys have discussions about your teams or whatever, understand errors. Like Josh Allen to me, that dude transcends errors. You could just
Yeah.
see it. You can't be like, oh, if back in the day he wouldn't do well. Yes, he would. I mean, the guy's a freaking robot.
John Elway, but
John Elway,
that's
right? You know when you know. So people that can get mad, like, look, you can see it. Some
yeah,
folks, you're like, you're benefiting because the system and things are working in your favor, right? So,
yeah.
um,
Like one more thing, I would be insulted if I was Joe Montana if they compared me to Brock Purdy.
oh
But I'll
yeah,
go ahead.
I
Like,
know that's
I'm like,
ridiculous. I know. I'm like, yeah, oh my gosh, like Joe, like the thing with him is the only person to me that we could compare to Joe Montana is Tom Brady.
yeah,
Joe cool, like I never, dude had no pulse. It's like
yeah.
Brady. That's why he's so good. When he was out there, he had
Or
no pulse.
Burrow compared, at least give him Burrow. But
Yes, I could
what I'm
see
saying
that. I could see
by
that.
by errors is that people would think that Brock Purdy and Joe
I
Montana
know.
because of
I
errors.
know.
I'm
No,
like,
no, no. I agree with you. No, I heard people say that. I'm like, these are people who are,
right.
people have lost their mind. So, anyways, man, hey, I thought it was a good episode. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate, all the support we're having, and we're gonna keep this going. And that, by the way, next week is Combine for NFL, so get a chance to watch that. We'll talk about that either next week or the week after, talk about a recap of that. And enjoy the NBA, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Right.
Peace out.
Take care. Take care.